Hello, my friends.
Hello.
Hello, friend.
Hello. Today, we have an interview with Steph and Dell Curry, arguably the best father-son duo, not just in the NBA, but in all of sports. So it made me wonder, looking into the future, would you allow your kids to follow in your professional footsteps?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I would have them do anything else.
interesting.
Getting into media in 2040 or whatever,
Oh,
to
yeah,
have
that's a
children,
good point.
100% no. Go be a doctor or a lawyer. Do something real.
Okay.
Or just go be happy.
Yeah, yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? Yeah. My kids have already gotten into it in that my son is taking no accountability for the things he says.
Oh, okay.
I like to do all.
Professional.
And my daughter at 1 year old is running around screaming and spitting on things. So they're already following in the footsteps.
When I'm out there on the court right now, I still get lost in the fun. It's still my happy place, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
Robert, Jason, we have a lot to get into today. I'm gonna break it all down on this week's rundown, presented by the City Strata Elite Card Rewards, where it counts. First, our very own Robert Mays went back into the reporter's seat, and you made 3 phone calls this week to NFL insiders to get their takes on the flurry of activity in the first week of NFL free agency. So you ready to tell us what happened?
I am. It's been a fun week.
And then we're going to talk about the rapid expansion of prediction markets and how they may seem indistinguishable from sports betting, but there's one itty bitty but extremely important difference, and we're going to break that down. And then finally, before there was Steph, hoop fans had his father, Dell. And our Marcus Thompson sat down with both of them to talk about the past, present, and future of the NBA. So let's get into it. Guys, it seems like just yesterday that we were counting the steps of Bad Bunny's sugarcane plants and celebrating the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. But I hope everyone enjoyed their respite from the NFL because
There was none.
there was none. That's right. No rest for the weary. Free agency kicked off, and Robert, I know you was busy.
It's a very fun week. We had a 5-hour podcast on Monday as all the news rolled in. It's truly one of my favorite days of the year. It is an entertaining week in the NFL, and so it was fun to kind of sit in that for a little bit.
So you're going to catch us up on all the headlines from this week, but as always, we want to go a little deeper, go into the layers of things. So you decided to whip out your reporter's notebook.
I don't have a reporter's notebook on me when I'm on the phone. I'm usually typing notes on my computer, but I bring a reporter's notebook around every once in a while. So I still have it.
He's got a hat with
Yeah, I have a newsboy cap. Yeah, no. I have a cigar that I don't smoke. Yeah.
There you go.
Morse
Okay.
code back into the phone.
You had some calls with some NFL insiders to get the inside scoop on everything that's going on. So what's the tea?
So the first person I called was an NFL coach. And he was a coach of a team that was in the market for a quarterback this offseason. And the unique part about this quarterback market specifically, in the NFL, there's a lot of complications with this. I'll try to explain it succinctly. When you have guaranteed money left on your contract and you're released, NFL contracts are subject to something called offsets. And so if you're released with that money left on your deal, another team can sign you for the minimum. This offseason in particular, there are 4 different quarterbacks for whom that applies. Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Tua Tagovailoa, and Geno Smith was traded, but he was in a very similar situation. And what's interesting about this is that for the most part, when quarterbacks or players are choosing teams, they're doing it based on the amount of money that they're getting. Well, if all these guys are available for the same price, the way that you make the choices start to change. And so I talked to this coach about how these quarterbacks make a decision about where they want to go and how the teams pick the quarterback. And it's just a very different set of circumstances than you have with almost any other free agent decision.
And what did he say about that process?
It's really about team fit. It's not necessarily about who is the best quarterback in a vacuum, because Kyler Murray is the most talented among all of these quarterbacks, but you may not necessarily be the best fit for one of these teams. And so that's just kind of speaks to the layers that go into this decision.
This fit thing makes me think of Daniel Jones going from the Giants to the Colts.
Giants to the Vikings very briefly, and then to the Colts.
Okay, who did you call next?
An NFL front office executive with the Colts, essentially about how they came to this decision, because they paid Daniel Jones a lot of money, about 2 years, $88 million with some incentives. And that's a lot of money to pay for Daniel Jones. The biggest reason for this is that when you're a team like the Colts and you've been on this quarterback carousel every single year, essentially since Andrew Luck has retired, it's a different quarterback every year. They saw themselves, even if it was a brief glimpse, they were an elite offense with Daniel Jones.
Right.
And so I think even with him coming off a torn Achilles, they were willing to pay a premium to just say, you know what, I saw it once. I think there's a lot of danger in that, but I think that was the mindset that drove them wanting Daniel Jones.
We could thank this last couple of years of these quarterback redemption stories for a lot of these guys who are in the middle class trying to get that bread. The Daniel Jones part, his mobility is such an important factor, and coming off of, it was an ACL.
It was an Achilles. It was
Went off Achilles and a broken leg.
Yep.
Right? Like, so this is a dude who's maxing out. He's one of those guys where if Sam Darnold doesn't do what he did last year, I'd be asking myself, like, what's the reason why you think this is going to work with a guy who's I'd say, let's be honest, been middling at a bunch of different spots now.
Sam Darnold walked so Daniel Jones could run. So I want to know about this drama around this defensive player in Las Vegas. What happened?
Favorite moment of the week.
Okay, so you talked to someone about this.
I talked to one of our writers at The Athletic about this, Jen Cerebic, who covers the Ravens for us, just to kind of get some insight into, okay, what really happened here?
Okay, wait, but tell us what really happened.
Well, so what happened is the Ravens traded 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, who is a very good edge rusher for the Raiders, but he's an aging player. He's coming off of an injury. This was a move that had a level of aggression we don't typically see with the Ravens. So everyone was kind of surprised by this. It happens on Friday night, and then you're sitting there on Tuesday night. It's like 7 p.m., and the Raiders tweet out a graphic that just says, the Ravens have backed out of our trade for Max Crosby. And then all hell breaks loose. And so now we're like, oh, what happened? Diana Rossini, who works at The Athletic, almost immediately comes out and says, Max Crosby failed his physical with the Ravens. Failing a physical is not a real thing. The team decides whether you pass a physical. And so the Ravens, after getting a look under the hood and seeing what his knee looks like up close, they were like, you know what? We no longer have the appetite to trade 2 first-round picks for this player. And so now you get a bunch of conspiracy theories about, did they ever really want to do this? Was this them just getting cold feet? They signed Trey Hendrickson of the Bengals immediately after this happened. So they no longer have to give up the picks for the same, but they gave away the same contract.
That's the issue.
It was the same contract that was left on Max Crosby's deal. And so that is why some people are just like, well, they saw Trey sitting out there and they're like,
and they
don't
got
have
a
to do this
discount.
anymore.
That's crazy.
The Ravens, and this is kind of what I got from my call with Jeff, is that the Ravens are adamant that they were so excited about this player. And the Ravens are the sort of organization that they do nothing by chance. There is a method to everything that they do.
We've talked about it in their coaching hire.
And so I just, the idea that they got cold feet, I don't necessarily buy. But the idea that when they saw the knee up close and they were looking at, here's the price, here's the player, and here's the alternative, we no longer believe in the calculus that we made 4 days ago. That I do think could be real.
I also think this is a result of this 2-day moratorium where people can talk.
It's so silly.
This is a result of fantastic reporting, because we've gotten so used to getting the news before announcements that if you have a receipt for something and you want to take it back, this is an organization that has been like one of those top 5, they do things in a different way. And now going forward, you may not have already damaged your reputation, obviously, with the Raiders, but a lot of teams are going to be like, hey, what's going on here? If this can happen, what precedent does this set? And now, if you're the Raiders and Max Crosby, it's like, getting a divorce and then having to live with that person until you find another career.
And they're trying to tell everybody that they're happy now. You know what? They just need a little couples therapy. That's all they really needed.
Nah.
I know that this is a hectic time in free agency, and there's more to be had in terms of these conversations, in terms of these moves. What else could be going on or coming down the line for the NFL free agency?
There could still be some big trades on the horizon. A.J. Brown is very unhappy in Philadelphia. It's much easier for the Eagles to trade him after June 1st than it is now for financial reasons. We'll see if Max Crosby's actually happy with the Raiders. They're another team that might throw some picks at them. So the free agents mostly have signed, but the trade market could still be hot even as we get closer to the season.
Okay. Well, thank you for getting those guys on the phone and filling us in on everything you learned. It was a lot of fun.
It was a fun week.
You may be hearing more and more about prediction markets these days and how it might impact the world of sports. You may be wondering why this recent and rapid boom, and also what is a prediction market? Well, if I had to bet, I'd say that you're probably gonna have your questions answered by our very own Hannah Van Bibber, the Athletic sports betting reporter. Welcome back to the show, and I appreciate you coming to help us understand prediction markets.
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm gonna start like really basic because I know you guys know. but in case anyone watching doesn't know, it looks a lot like a sports book, which is why we're even talking about it, right? But prediction markets work like a stock market. So on the back end, legally, it's totally different. Taxation is different. But basically what you're trading on is the outcome of a future event. So you're logging onto these sites and you're seeing all kinds of events. So because it's a futures market, they can offer more than just sports, which is how it's a little bit different from sports betting. But it's all based on yes or no stakes. So you can't like pick a bunch of different things. You're like, will SGA be MVP? Yes or no. You're gonna hear from a lot of these prediction markets, their argument for why this is in the public interest is that if we have a bunch of people putting money on these future events, we're going to get a more accurate prediction of what's going to happen. Which you could see that argument if, say, like, we're talking about when will the government shutdown end? Maybe there are people who have information who are putting money in the market and we actually could get more accurate. So this happened with the elections where prediction markets predicted the outcome much more accurately than polls because people were being more honest since they're anonymous, they're putting their own money behind it instead of a poll where you can say whatever you want. So that's the argument that it's in the public interest and they're regulated federally. Sports betting is regulated at the state level.
Thinking about sports books and thinking about prediction markets, we know that you can go to a casino. We now know that you have casinos in your pocket. What are the markets for prediction markets?
So the two names you've probably heard the most are Kalshi and Polymarket, although a lot of other companies have got involved, whether they're partnering with these companies, like you can bet on, I shouldn't say bet, but it does feel like a bet.
You can predict,
You can put money or invest in these prediction markets on Robinhood, Coinbase has prediction markets. There are tons of companies getting involved.
This is not new, but we're hearing so much more about it now. So what has changed in the last 6 months to a year or just recently that has just been made this more a topic of conversation?
Yeah, futures markets have been around for over 100 years. Like think of like the price of oil or farmers trying to hedge against drought. That's where this comes from. So some of the regulation is like that old. Like we really need to catch up. But those have existed a long time. Then these startups were like, hey, couldn't we offer a futures market on any event? So those have been around, let's say 5 to 6 years, but they didn't become huge until 2025. And can anyone think of anything that happened at the beginning of 2025? The Trump administration came into power, and the Trump administration is seen as much more friendly to these markets.
They have money in them.
Yes, Donald Trump Jr. is on the advisory board of both Kalshi and Polymarket.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they're like, everyone seems to think like, as long as this administration is in power, we kind of have the like thumbs up, the green light to like push. But then you have like, let's enter the other fighter comes in, and that's casinos and states. Because states and casinos have been working for the past several years to like work out the regulation of how sports betting is safe for people, how it will be taxed. And then suddenly it's like these prediction markets come in with their federal lightning pass and cut the line. Like they're like, we are not going to get all this tax revenue from sports betting. We aren't going to be able to control what's offered in our state. Like we're in Chicago, sports betting, you're not allowed to bet on local college teams, but you can on a prediction market, and that's available here. So this is what's happening in courts around the US right now.
How do these Polymarket and Kalshi situations affect the sports fan today?
Yeah, that's a great question. And even though the big headlines are about like, can you bet on the war and things like that? 90% of what's bet or what's traded on Kalshi is sports related. You're gonna start seeing those partnerships pop up. So we have two really big famous athletes who we know of so far who have partnerships with Kalshi. Bryson DeChambeau has an endorsement deal with them. And I'll say I was not surprised by that one. Like, he seems like a
That's on par.
bro.
That's on par. Yeah,
that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Of course, he was the first one to do this. But then the next one was like so shocking to me. I'm sure it was to you. Giannis. Like,
especially at the time that it happened, when everyone's trying to figure out what's going to happen if he stays with the Bucks or not. That is an obvious thing that I would invest in terms of what is this a yes or a no?
And then he drops the sponsorship.
And then he drops
the day the trade deadline is finished.
Yeah. There were so many questions remaining about that. Like, how is that allowed? And then we've got leagues that are in partnership. So the NHL is in partnership with Kalshi and Polymarket. Major League Soccer and the UFC are the only other major leagues in the US that we know of that have partnerships. The NBA, NFL, MLB, PGA, they're all kind of like, none of them are like willing to say we're not going to take their money down the line, but they're all in a wait and see. We've talked about manipulation. This opens up the door for people to at least wonder if what they're seeing is real or being manipulated.
The problem with this is now, especially when we move beyond the sports situation, if you have somebody manipulating that market, then you manipulate public opinion about potentially devastating events.
Yes.
You have somebody bet a lot of money on whether a war is going to happen, and now there's a 70% chance the war is going to happen. When the war happens, the public just says, well, there was a 70% chance the war was going to happen. It was an inevitability.
Right.
So this is where you just get down a slippery slope where this is truly dangerous.
Right.
So where do you see this going? 5 years from now, what are we talking about? How are we affected as not only a sporting community, but people who don't want to be dragged into the underworld?
Yeah. Should we get on Kalshi and ask?
Yeah, right.
Let's all put some bets on if we think the apocalypse is coming. No, I think it's really important and interesting to see how leagues will respond. So we are in a bit of a wait and see. One of the people I spoke to on the integrity side was just like, we've seen this happen before where an asset class gets ahead of regulation. And he was talking about crypto. We saw it with sports betting as states were trying to clamp down on regulation. So we are just going to have to watch court drama play out.
It feels very focused on labels and making sure this is properly labeled and sectioned into, is this gambling, is this not, and how that might impact sports. Hannah, thank you for breaking this down.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Very clearly for us. If anyone wants to learn more about prediction markets around sports in general, scan this QR code and you'll be sent directly to Hannah's most recent article. So.
And can I add that I wrote that article with my colleague, Dan Santaromita, whose parents met on the trading floor in Chicago, and he is just like a whiz at this stuff. So he did so much work on all our reporting, and just have to shout him out.
Shout out to Dan and your folks.
Well, come back soon. I'm going to predict that you're going to come back soon.
I hope so.
I'm betting against that.
I'll put money on that. Thanks a lot, Robert.
Y'all, I'm so excited because today, for our main story, we going back to the Bay. And the person that's going to take us on the trip is here. One of my favorite people, Marcus Thompson. Welcome to the Athletic.
There's a lot of hand movement on the introduction, so this is going to be special.
Very excited.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm actually containing myself.
Yeah, that's town biz.
Yeah, I feel you.
And we are really excited because you got to sit down with two amazing basketball players, Steph and Dell Curry. And you're at Chase Center in San Francisco, a place I know very well. And you've been covering Stephen for a very long time. Tell me how you've seen him evolve as a person and player.
As a person, he hasn't much evolved at all. He's the same guy, right? He carries a lot of those same, like, I'm just happy to be here elements, right? He's like a global superstar who can't go to too many places without being known, but he still operates like, oh, I'm just a regular guy. As a basketball player, he's evolved considerably. He essentially took shooting and manipulated it into becoming one of the greatest players of all time, right? He came in with like this one special skill and he's just constantly added to it. And he would have never said, I'm about to be top 10, top 15 player of all time. But it happened.
But it wasn't always like this, because I remember a time where it was Steph with the bad ankles and should they extend him?
Steph really hates being considered soft. Like, it bothers him. The first part of his career, Steph was trying to prove he was a point guard.
Right.
He was like really adamant, like, I can play point guard in the NBA. So his first year, he averaged like 4 threes attempts. That's what we really saw change, was him saying, you know what, I think I'm nicer than y'all and I'm not soft. And let me go out here and show y'all that I may be the light-skinned dude from the nice neighborhood of Charlotte with my dad at the NBA. But I'm more gangster than all y'all, right? Like, that's kind of how he took it.
His star has grown so much that you almost forget that his dad played in the NBA for 16 years. Like, it's easy to forget that. And so the role that Dell played in getting Steph to the NBA, but also to this moment, what did that look like? And how do you think he shaped him for all of this?
It's the professionalism, right? It's two things. It's how to be a pro, and like this massive appreciation for the fraternity. That's one of the big advantages from these second generation athletes. They aren't winging it. They know exactly what to do and how to operate. And we know Dell knows it because he's got like 9 family members in the NBA.
Right. Shout out to Damian Lee.
And yes, let's just clarify. Damian Lee married to Dell Curry, the daughter of Dell, and then Seth Curry, who's also married to Callie Rivers, daughter of Doc Rivers.
Big basketball family.
16 years in the league, Dell played. He's actually getting his jersey retired next week, right?
Next week, it's probably a bit overdue for what Dell has meant, but those jerseys are
Fire.
iconic athlete jerseys. So having that jersey in the rafters is crazy.
Okay, I want to see this interview. So let's take a look at your piece.
This is inside the Marcus Actor Studio. This is phenomenal.
What a wonderful opportunity for you guys to be sitting down with me.
You know what I'm saying?
You've really come a long way, the two of you. That really put together a good career. Special. You get to be interviews by Marcus Thompson.
You gotta put the.
Got to put the second on it too. We got to talk about the second. Why the second, by the way? Why not Junior?
Sounds more elegant.
That's what my mom said.
Yeah.
Like Junior, the second is it. Yeah, I feel that. All right, Steph, I know I've been covering you since you got here. I know how much this man means to you. What was it like to watch the moment when your dad learned his jersey was getting retired?
I got word of it maybe a week or two before. It was hardest secret to keep, but it still didn't prepare you for the moment when you saw the raw emotions come out.
The Hornets, they want to honor you forever.
Oh, you hit me with that, man. What? Are you kidding me?
But when he starts stuttering, that's my favorite. What?
Come on. You played 16 years, 6-man on multiple editions of NBA Jam, by the way.
Yeah.
Mr. Charlotte Hornets basketball. Then I read this comment. I've never heard of a player being so good they retired his dad's jersey.
You asked, why we call him the second was because I'm the first. So I got to flex on that.
His nickname is the originator. That's what we call him.
The originator.
Yeah, so they try to summarize all of that legacy in one word.
The originator. Oh, man, we got a cert. I can get you one. What was your favorite Dell Curry moment?
There's a lot. Was it 93? When y'all played Boston in the first round, you threw the inbound pass to Alonzo for the buzzer beater. Well, and he was the inbound man and the first on the dog pile after Zoe hit the buzzer beater.
When Zoe's on the ground,
and the ends of the air, and then you see Pops come through. I just remember being in the arena and like the whole buzz around, pun intended, for the Hornets in Charlotte, just what that team meant. The funniest one still is when they did the playoff team bonding thing when they decided to all shave their heads going into a playoff series, but he ain't tell anybody. So he went to practice one day looking a certain way and then came back, and he scared the crap out of my sister. To this day, I still remember like him walking in the house and he just turned the corner and she like lost it. She was probably 4 or 5 at most.
I want to talk about longevity because both of y'all are really old, like old. I can say that because I
Absolutely.
You played 16 years, and I think we kind of gloss over that now, like 16.
Yeah.
16 is a lot of years in 90s NBA basketball.
Well, first I want you to answer the guy that said, I'm only getting retired because that's it. So he needed to check the stats on that. 16 years went by so fast. So my rule is you play as long as you can, then play one more year.
No price.
Steph, you watched him do this, and now you're in year 17. But what did you learn that you feel like maybe you didn't know at the time you were learning them, but they're there now?
Something he taught me and my brother and my sister, like nobody can want it, for you. You can get, good coaching, guidance, support, whatever, but you have to want it for yourself. And I think I was probably between 8 and 12, that window of time, actually understanding what was going on and how he was preparing himself for the season coming up. He had a trainer that would come over to the house, and it was just kind of that grinding atmosphere where, You just be watching, not really knowing what they were doing, but like, oh, this is important, this matters, and just seeing him, even at that stage of his career, grinding to get his body right for the upcoming year. You getting paid to play the game at the highest level in the NBA, all the glamour of the NBA life, but seeing it behind the scenes was important for me to kind of understand what it took to play at the highest level and how you have to keep doubling down on that every year.
Another thing I think is big is my teammates. They notice I tell them beforehand, hey, I'm bringing my boys to practice tomorrow. Talk to them, hang out with them. And on every team, Muggsy, Lonzo, Hersey, Larry Johnson. When I was at Milwaukee, Ray Allen, Vince in Toronto. It's good to have another voice in the ear.
I imagine working out back then in your day, y'all had like gallons of water and you were chasing chickens and all that.
Cold tubs, yeah. Those big round metal tubs, yeah.
At what point in your career did you realize this conditioning thing is actually a major advantage for me and I can lean into this?
I had that perspective that I had to be, the most well-conditioned, even if I didn't really know how to maximize at the time. It's one of my favorite compliments that I get in the middle of a game. Somebody guard me at a free throw dead ball or something. We stand next to each other. Come and be like, yo, stop moving so much. Or ask me like, yo, can I work out with you this time? I need to know what you be doing. So I kind of understood it was a difference maker.
He's always been one of the smallest guys on the team, so you got to figure it out. I watch games now, and I'm like, why isn't the official calling and grabbing the hole? They look at a lot of action on the ball, but by the time they look at his action off the ball, it's too late, but he never complains.
Sometimes.
Yeah, there's a few mouthpieces thrown here and there when you decide to hang it up, right? What will be the determination?
I think your body is the first, just what it takes to get ready for a game is a lot different now than it was a decade ago. When I'm out there on the court right now, I still get lost in the fun. It's still my happy place. It's all the work is worth it because I get to go out there and hoop at the highest level. The competition, the camaraderie, the chasing something that matters, like that still gets me going. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
I want the ball! Oh! Ring around the rosy.
You grew up shooting hoop in a barn on a telephone pole with one light and no paved road.
That's right.
Like the hard scrabble. And for most of NBA history, that's what people came from. Most people have humble backgrounds, but now there's this influx of people who are coming from second generation NBA players. If we get, guys growing up in gyms with trainers and not on blacktop and, going to the Y and all that, how does that impact the league, you think?
The metal, the DNA, the competitiveness of the athlete now, I think it's in a great place. It's just, things evolve and things change, and that old school mentality of like even the locker room, culture and all that is different for sure. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And yeah, we've been exposed to it, been around. You had the benefit of being able to find gyms and play, organized basketball and have resources and all that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have what it takes to last at the highest of levels.
Y'all are maybe 4,000 points behind the James household as far as you back up. But he's roll with the set.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's the family. It's the household. Yeah,
I'm like, if there's a table where everybody's eating dinner, there's more points at your table.
Yeah.
I mean, then if you really want to cheat, you can throw in Damian. Are you claiming supremacy over the James household as a basketball family? Go ahead, Dale, say it.
Yes, I am. I am. Ain't afraid of it. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Somebody got to say it.
So I remember when I realized like Steph was different. It was against the Clippers, rookie year. He had like 36.
Triple-double.
Yeah. So I remember sitting on the seat like, wait a second, hold on. Like this dude is different. You've seen him your whole life. I know you put them in AAU, but you pulled them out. What are your thoughts on that? Especially considering like with two kids in the NBA, you're now like
thoughts on AAU?
Yeah, just that whole structure system.
I do not like that.
You know,
no, but I thought individual skill work was a lot more important. I knew they could play the game. By being around me and my teammates, they knew how to play the game. They knew the work ethic. So I just decided we're going to take a different route.
Since y'all are the supreme basketball family in America, how are you going to solve America basketball problem? Is there a thing that should be happening that will keep us at the top?
The ability to develop a baseline for like basketball IQ and what does that mean? There's an epidemic in that respect. I also feel like even just the ability to allow kids to play multiple sports and be kids for as long as they can before it turns into kind of the business mentality and mindset. On the whole, I think the culture around it has kind of shifted to the wrong direction. I played multiple sports until I was 13 and then figured out what I wanted to do and what I loved. And I think what I gained from playing multiple sports and the physical skill sets, the hand-eye coordination, different footwork, you're around different people, have different demands on your body. That's only helped me in basketball. I think there's a lot of people who are trying to solve it, knowing we need as much, homegrown talent as possible representing the highest levels of basketball. So we'll see what happens.
I'm 90s basketball. I'm your era.
Sweet spot.
You know what I'm saying? Where do you think the game is right now? Are you on the 90s was better bandwagon like some of us are?
I don't know if the 90s is better. It's just a different era, a different time. Things evolve. The game, it can't revert to a 90s game. It's got to be an entertainment type business. And in that aspect, the game is healthy. The 90s was different, but I like where we're at right now.
The only thing I want to bring back from the 90s is when everybody had their own apparel deal. And the league looked different. That was just the way you just didn't go. I love it so much. And the All-Star jerseys being your own jersey.
Oh, that was fire.
That just as a look, it was a fun time.
Y'all had some of the greatest
Starter jacket? Yeah.
I know who got robbed for them. Who's getting robbed for just
bring those back.
I wish that we could wear our own colorway of shoes. Everybody had
the team color.
Had to wear white.
Had to wear, yeah. Do you prefer this craziness of neon yellow?
I like that. I love all that.
It's like looking at a bag of Skittles on TV.
I love all that.
Helps
me pick them out.
Yeah.
That's a trademark of a player. I can look at a guy. I can probably look at a uniform and tell you who that guy is.
One last question: who's the greatest writer of the Steph Curry era? You don't have to say it. You don't even have to say it.
We still looking for him.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having the conversation.
Great stuff. Always cool to see, different generations sit down. How does he carry that responsibility of being the greatest shooter ever and also making a whole bunch of teams kind of reformulate and change the math problem of how to go about winning NBA games? Like, how does Steph carry that responsibility or role?
Oh, it's a point of pride for him, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, he's always of the mind that you can't just be out here chucking threes. It was always, let's use the three as a way to get other stuff, right? He drives, he gets to the free throw line more now in his older age. He got stronger so he could. So his thing is like, hey, do the whole thing. Don't just shoot threes. Like, do all of it, right?
When you think about the shooting, particularly in the Curry line, it does feel like there's a mutant gene.
He's a mutant, bro.
There's a mutant gene, though.
No question about it. He's a mutant.
Stephen Curry, best three-point shooter we've seen of all time. His father wasn't too bad. His brother is also amazing. And you're just wondering, is this genetic?
No, and there's no question.
Nature versus nurture, like what is it?
It's both, right? The nurture part, his father playing 16 years showed him how to nurture it. The way I explain this is, and you would know this, if you're at the free throw line and somebody shoots the ball too hard, how do you tell them how to shoot it softer? You just can't, bro. Like he has things in his fingertips we don't feel.
Yeah.
Right. He could be like, 37 feet. I need to shoot this 17% harder. I need to get this much. Like that's not normal, dude. Like
the second generation element of this, I find so many interesting points of tension because you talk about how he was a professional right away. That's a good thing. But then him playing other sports, the idea that they worked on more skill training than him playing in games, being allowed to kind of create a flexibility in his development where you don't see kind of the negatives of becoming a professional in a bad way too early on.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point. One of the things that the second generation athletes don't have that doesn't produce some of these negative aspects of those who don't is the desperation. Steph had the flexibility to play volleyball. It wasn't like, we need you to save the family. Like put it all in.
Right.
So that ability for his dad to say, hey, this summer I'm changing your shot and you're gonna suck all summer because you need to shoot like a professional. And he could just do that. And nobody's worried about, hey man, you're not gonna make it now, right? So that's a big part of it. You get to find a drive and a motivation that's like earnest. It's not external, it's internal. Steph's a maniac because he has an internal drive.
One last question for you, Marcus. Did he tell you when he was gonna retire, or do you have to make that prediction?
Steph might be one of them dudes who he'll do the LeBron thing, I think. Because his conditioning is so good, and he takes care of himself, like he's gonna be the 85-year-old dude lifting weights.
Marcus, we appreciate you hanging out with us, interviewing Steph and Dell. That was awesome. Thanks for coming to the Athletic Show.
Took you long enough to get me here.
Facts.
My man, appreciate you. Have you guys ever thought of yourself, I just want to learn something because I know it'll feel good?
Every day.
Thank you. Well, you're in luck today because it's time for another edition of LFG. Learning feels good, people. Give it up. Give it up. I'm going to clap for it. Yeah, clap your paddles. Clap your paddles. Listen carefully because I'm going to explain the very complicated rules to this game. I'll provide you with a number. Then you need to guess which of the 4 potential answers correctly refers to the number. Got any questions? No? Good. Let's start. The number is 62. Is it the probability on Cowsheet that Max Holloway would win UFC 326 last weekend before his face got pummeled and he lost by a unanimous decision? Is it the jersey number of Artemi Panarin? Shout out to Artemi, former Blackhawk, who was told he couldn't use after being acquired by the Los Angeles Kings because it was already taken by Bailey the Lion, the Kings mascot. Come on, Artemi, what are you thinking? How many points Miami Heat center Bam Adebayo scored through the first 3 quarters of Tuesday's game against the Washington Wizards? Or is it the aged Dell Curry will turn on March 19th, the same day the Charlotte Hornets are retiring his jersey? The number 62. Do with it what you will.
I'm not even gonna lie. I only remember C.
Okay, put up C.
I want it to be the Bailey the Lion thing because that's funniest, but I'm gonna go with C.
He shot.
Scintillating.
A lot of math happening right now.
I'm just gonna
Go with C, yes. The answer is C.
Yes.
Okay.
Bam Adebayo had 60, yes, you did do it. Bam Adebayo had 62 points entering the final quarter of Tuesday evening's matchup and a whopping 83. He got 83 points when all was said and done, passing Kobe Bryant for the second highest scoring total behind only Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game.
Crazy.
His performance, including a record-setting free throw mark of 43 attempts. He made 36 of those. Sparked a lot of criticism that the Heat repeatedly put the ball in Adebayo's hands and drew fouls, even with a commanding lead. You know, this was a ridiculous night for the NBA in a good and a bad way to me. In a good way, you love seeing just outlandish things happen and being like, oh, I can't believe that happened. But in a bad way, you know, the Wizards, drop your nuts and have some pride and don't allow that shit to happen. I'm sorry, dog. Like, I showed my child the next morning, this is what you don't do when you're getting your ass whooped.
I was very excited for Bam. If you would have asked me a year ago, who's gonna break Kobe's record, I don't know if Bam would have been in the top 100.
Not at all.
So it was really cool though, his entire team bought in to wanting to get him over the line. Like, they were so excited. I think even more than he could be in the moment for him. This is what happens when you have tanking teams. Like Washington, this is, I think, Adam Silver, this is an opportunity for you to look and see, is this what's gonna keep happening to your teams if they are falling by the wayside as they try to get a draft pick?
I was thinking about the Spoelstra press conference the day after. It's just like,
I apologize to no one.
They're actively
to
trying
absolutely
to lose.
no one. Exactly.
The entire conversation around it and all of the different responses, I think, were almost as entertaining as the game itself.
Yeah.
So the fact that we got 2 full days of conversation about it, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Well, this show was awesome. Shout out to Hannah Van Bibber, to Robert for putting his reporter's hat back on, and my guy, Marcus Thompson, coming all the way out here from the Bay. All right, y'all, remember, you can find The Athletic Show every Saturday, early on Fire TV, and you can head on over to theathletic.com for more of the world's best sports journalism. See you guys next time.